Avery, whose show is this? Welcome everybody here to the Lakers Lounge podcast. I'm Anthony Irwin recording this. This is a 4:38 my time. I'm about to go out and cook Christmas Eve dinner for the family. Figured I would pop in, record a quick lowdown / lounge, and let everybody go out and hopefully safely enjoy your holidays. Today on the show, I'm going to be narrating a column that I wrote for Clutch Points, my latest one about Cam Johnson. It is the first of a series of columns that I will be writing about trade targets that the Lakers are going to have over the next, few weeks, 6 weeks or whatever it is. So we're going to read that one. And then I have a Christmas Day story from, oh man, this would have been a long time ago. This would have been after, I think this would have been Christmas 2007, after the Lakers had lost to the Celtics the year prior in the NBA Finals. Jen and I got tickets to go watch the Lakers play the Celtics there at then Staples Center, and had one of the funniest exchanges I've ever seen with or by a Lakers fan. I didn't really participate much in it. So I'm going to narrate that column, tell that story, and then wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. And no matter what it is that you are celebrating this holiday season, even if you're not celebrating, enjoy your Wednesday too. But whatever it is that you guys are up to, enjoy this. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. And again, please be safe this holiday season. If you're drinking in anything, hop in that Uber. If you are hosting, keep it nice and stressful. Remember to take some moments for yourself. Also soak in these celebrations as well as best you can. Because you just never know. But let's go ahead though and start with Cam Johnson. So the column is called "Will Lakers Trade Target? Will Rob Pelinka pay up for Cam Johnson?" Starts with, for years, the Los Angeles Lakers have struggled to find two-way wing to help fill out their front court alongside Anthony Davis and LeBron James. They currently employ Rui Hachimura and Jared Vanderbilt, both of whom are significantly more impactful on one end of the court than the other. As combining those two players is probably against the rules in the current CBA, the Lakers must instead find such a player on the trade market. Cam Johnson is the top two-way wing on the trade market. The Lakers have the necessary pieces to meet the Brooklyn Nets' asking price. The question, once again, is whether Rob Pelinka will push the chips into the middle of the table. Let's start with the pros. Johnson would immediately solidify the Lakers' front court and become the team's best two-way role player on nights he's focused defensively. He's currently hitting 42% of his 7.6 threes per game that he's attempting. The 19.1 points per game he is scoring is the highest of his career. And most importantly, he's played in 27 of the 28 games Brooklyn has played so far this season. If he's able to stay healthy and continue scoring at anywhere near that pace, he'd take the Lakers back into in the direction of defensive versatility and shooting that helped win the 2019-2020 championship. The cons: acquiring Johnson is going to be expensive. More on that in a second. He's the most sought-after trade piece this year outside of the stars on the market. Every team in the running for the playoffs could use a player like Johnson, which will allow Brooklyn to essentially set its price. Johnson also doesn't have a great track record when it comes to availability. Last year, he played in only 58 games for Brooklyn, which was a huge improvement to the year prior, when he was available for only 42 games combined between his time in Phoenix and Brooklyn. He's only played 60 or more games twice. One of those seasons was only 60. While Johnson is the best combination of threes and defense on the trade market, The defense part of that equation is pretty inconsistent, though it's hard to say how much of that is to do with the morose situation he's coming from in Brooklyn. Johnson also has bonuses that increase the amount of money teams need to send out to land him, which complicates trading for him even further. As such, a third team that could take on some salary would need to be brought into the negotiations. So, moving the necessary draft capital and contracts won't be cheap, and there's still a decent chance he'll miss time for the defense, or the defense he plays won't meet the expectations that come with such a hefty price tag. Speaking of the cost, according to league sources, Brooklyn is expecting to land at least one first rounder plus potentially either some second round draft compensation or a promising prospect. Brooklyn would also prefer to not take money beyond this season for any of the players they're acquiring unless it's attached to said prospect, of course. In this case, one potential offer would be D'Angelo Russell, Dalton Connect, a first, and whatever additional salaries going wherever they would need to go. Rather than including Connect, the Lakers could try to offer additional draft compensation. The likelihood, as much as Johnson would help the Lakers, it's hard to see the now extremely conservative Pelinka push this many chips into the middle of the table on one player who isn't a star. Sources close to the team have been adamant about how reluctant the Lakers would be to include Connect in trades, as he was their one win of the offseason, though that's obviously diminished recently as he just can't throw a pea in the ocean. Things obviously change quickly, and the Lakers are currently sitting atop the Pacific. The Lakers currently sitting atop the Pacific Division certainly helps. I don't know if that's still the case because they lost since my writing this article. But Johnson winding up a Laker would be a pretty big surprise. I'm curious what your thoughts on that are going to be, especially that offer. It is very steep. That offer is not necessarily one that um, I proposed myself. That is kind of the going rate if the Lakers were to trade for him right now, this second. Lakers are obviously hoping that it would, over the course of the season, that price would drop. Though it's difficult to see that happening because of how many teams are going to be lining up to trade for Johnson. Though, even on that front, because of those bonuses, there are actually fewer teams that literally can trade for Johnson, which certainly obviously helps the Lakers there. There was a report recently that the Thunder could be interested in Johnson. If that is the case, look, the Thunder are basically the absolute X factor this trade season because they have so many assets and they have so many movable contracts. They have so much youth on their roster. If they decide to consolidate their talent pool, um, the offers that they can make absolutely dwarf the offers that any team, including the Lakers, can make. That said, Presti doesn't like overpaying just for the sake of overpaying. Remember, he got Alex Caruso for only Josh Giddey, no draft compensation there. So if the Thunder do get involved, it would be it would change things certainly. But the Lakers, I still think, can make a competitive and realistic offer to against basically any other team in the league. Again, curious what your thoughts are. All right, let's go ahead and end this episode with a little bit of fun. This was again Christmas of 2007. Jen and I had been dating for about 3 years or so. At that time, it was difficult to decide: are we going to go to my house for Christmas? Or are we going to go to Jen's house for Christmas? So one year we just said, "Screw it, we're not going to go to either." Turns out that was not an approach that Jen's family liked all that. My parents never really cared. They were like, if you can make it, cool. If you can't, we'll work with it in a way that, allows you to make it too. Um, Shouts to my parents. But Jen's parents were not always, did not always take that approach, did not always have that sentiment. And, here we are. But anyway, so we decided to go to this Lakers game. Remember, this is right after the Boston Celtics had beaten the Lakers in the NBA Finals, and Lakers fans were hot for a win that Christmas. So, and if I remember correctly, I don't know if they had played already that year. I think they held off on that matchup until Christmas, which made that matchup all the more enticing. And unfortunately, though, the game starts and the Celtics jump out to a lead. I think at one point they held like a 13-point lead. I think they headed into halftime up about 9, if I'm not mistaken. They looked once again like the better, tougher team. So all of us Lakers fans, and I was sitting in the there are like the nosebleed sections, and then I was basically sitting on the roof of Staples Center, like, with binoculars peering in. But the cool thing about those sections is that's where all the real fans are. So we're up there, and it's halftime, and all of us Lakers fans, especially the guys, just kind of begrudgingly go to the hallways to hit the concession stand, to hit the restroom, and then to make our way back into our seats. So I'm standing there in line to go to the bathroom, and I am right behind. No, I am. How was it? I was in line, and then behind me was a giant cholo, huge dude, biggest Mexican I've ever seen. And this guy is like, just chilling, nice guy. He and I are talking about the game. We're just kind of pissed about the way that the game is going. And as we are sitting there talking, there's all restrooms have that like L-shaped hallway that come out of it, and then like the lines tend to kind of wrap this way into the hallway to stay parallel with the hall. And so because of the bend, the people who were walking out of the bathroom couldn't immediately see like everybody who was in line. So this guy walks out of this line, and we could see them walking out of the bathroom. So this dude who's walking out of the bathroom is this like 5'5", 135-pound Boston fan who's wearing this starter jacket, and a koozie jersey, and he is just walking out like, all the swagger, all that shit. And so this guy walks out, and he's puffing his chest, and he's talking to every Lakers fan. That's why we beat you guys in the finals last year. That's why we're going to beat you again if you guys even make it there this year. That's why this, and that's why that, and that's why this, and da 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 da. And out this guy walks, and again, behind me is one of the most like terrifying human beings I've ever seen. Super nice guy. Like you know, I am Mexican, so I have interacted with cholos my entire life. I have a few in my family. And so, like, I really enjoyed the conversation that I had with this guy. But I also knew if that guy flipped the switch, he could kill just about anybody in, in a half a mile radius. And so this guy walks out, and he's puffing out his chest, and he's talking his shit, and bleep you and bleep that and bleep all of you, bleep this city, Boston's out of this. And the guy behind me kind of steps out, not all the way out of the line. Didn't want to lose a spot. He kind of steps out in a way that, like, hey, you can see me here now. And the guy who is wearing this jacket shrinks from 5'5" to about 3'2". Just he like closes up his jersey, and he covers up his jersey. He just goes like this. And that's even before the dude behind me opens his mouth. And the guy goes, "Hey man, you're lucky this isn't a Dodgers game, because I spent about 3 paychecks to be sitting here today, and it is not worth it to stab your ass and get kicked out." And I'm like, so, and and this guy again, who had already shrunk from 5'5" to 3'2", is now like Honey, I Shrunk the Kid size. And he just absolutely like scatters away like a tiny little mouse. He's like, oh, sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. Okay, yeah, good luck. And then he heads back to wherever he was setting. Obviously, the rest is now history. The Lakers make a comeback there in the second half. They wound up beating the Boston Celtics that day. One of the most fun experiences I've ever had at a basketball game in my life. Yelled, screamed, booed at Paul Pierce the entire time. And, walked away from that game thinking like, I hope we do see you in June. Obviously, we didn't. The Lakers wound up seeing Orlando in the finals that year, winning that one, and then winning the next year against the Boston Celtics. And I hope that dude who wore that starter's jacket had to sink back in his chair thinking about that Lakers fan who absolutely punked him without even touching him. Incredible stuff. All right, that is going to do it here for this episode of the Lakers Lounge podcast. I'm going to go ahead and post this and schedule it out for tonight. Obviously, a little bit lighter show load this week. Harrison and I weren't able to make our times work because of all of the holidays and weren't able to record. So I figured I would offer you up this story instead. The plan, again, is to, depending on how the Warriors game goes, the game against the Warriors goes, I will see where I'm at and if I'm able to record. If I can't record on Christmas to recap that game, and I'll probably do a lowdown no matter what. But if I can't record a live recap of that game, I'll go ahead and talk to Raj and see if we can work out a time that Thursday instead to recap the game and then look ahead to the next few days as we head into the weekend. And then also, depending on family stuff and whatever, I might, record something Friday to make up for some of the shows and episodes that I missed over the course of the last couple days or the next day or so. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you enjoyed that story. Check out that article there on Clutch Points. I'd really appreciate it if you handed us over that click. And then, until the next time you guys hear from me, have a very safe and Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy Wednesday. If it's just a Wednesday to you, no matter what it is that you're doing, please be safe. Give your family a nice big hug. Stay away from the white meat turkey. It's the worst thing that you can eat at the holidays. It's gross. It's dry. It's never seasoned enough. Get some good food in your system instead. And I will talk to you guys again whenever I do. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye, everyone.